I read this? What is the significance of this story for all the things that we've been talking about?
The inspiration of the Holy Spirit clearly is present.
The inspiration of the Holy Spirit, yeah?
Yeah, from both Abraham and to the servant. And
Yeah.
I mean Rebecca and her siblings, all truly trusting in the Lord that this man is speaking of God.
Yeah, that the Lord's preparing the way. Anybody else? How about this? Is anyone who doesn't mind raising their hand in public? Is there anyone who's never heard this story before? It's an awesome story. So thank you for being honest. This story is really, really important. Why do you think this story is important? I want to hear from you. I know it's hard to listen to someone like read, and I cut some things out, but what does it sound like? From the servants. So think about this. Ooh, how about this? Think that you're the servant. Your master tells you to go on this mission to find a wife for his son. Yeah.
Very trusting.
So it's very trusting that Abraham would trust the servant, that the servant would trust God. And
the Pope wants us to evangelize and reach out to people and trust.
so the Father is sending us, his servants, to go find spouses for his son by evangelization. We're preparing people to have their souls joined to Christ by a relationship with him. And so when any of us go and knock on someone's door or visit someone who's sick, we're like this servant. And the Lord prepares the way for us. And it especially speaks to the importance of us of being disinterested servants. There's especially from the way we read it, because we don't understand the cultural nuances of the story, but it kind of looks like for a second that the servant is going, maybe he's going to take Rebecca. She's so beautiful, he's given her this stuff, but he's trustworthy with what his master gave him, and that he's been given a task and he has gifts in order to make this task possible, but they're not his. Is it his gold nose ring? Are they his, 10 shekel bracelets? No. And so he uses these things for his master. And for us to be disinterested as we are doing the work of evangelization is very, very important. So I think that there's many angles and aspects of this story that can help us, but also to be thinking that some of these people that our master is sending us out to go speak to and to try to win their hearts might be people in our families, might be people who are like co-workers, or they might be enemies. So Genesis 24, I like it, it's fun. So that kind of primes us for this evening. We spoke about the Holy Spirit living in Mary, and now for us to speak about the Holy Spirit living in us as we're thrown out into the world by the Holy Father, Pope Francis, to be evangelizers. But some of us have questions, some of us have challenges or difficulties, or do we understand what Pope Francis is sending us out to do? Do we understand what the Holy Spirit is asking of us? So it's very possible that on this Saturday night, out of the whole retreat, this is one of the most important aspects of this retreat, for you to have an opportunity to listen to other people in their struggles, to understand certain aspects of their lives or what's going on in the church, and for all of us to be strengthened. So, particularly about Pope Francis, particularly about the new evangelization, particularly about being in the Legion. Where are we going to go tonight? Ready, go. Raise your hand. What do we got going on? Questions? Yeah.
I think it would be good to try to maybe get an understanding from our group, just as especially too when we're discussing about the Holy Spirit. I guess, can we, I don't know, I mean, maybe try to get a better sense from our group, like where we're at in terms of that. Like, do we really understand what it means when we are discerning, you know, what the Holy Spirit is telling us? Especially when it comes to evangelization, or especially when it comes to, you know, like say for example, you know, I like to carry sacramentals on me so that when I'm walking down the street, you know, the Holy Spirit may say, like, give a miraculous medal to this person or that person, or, you know, when you're in a conversation or a debate with somebody, and, you know, you ask the Holy Spirit, come Holy Spirit, you know, enlighten me.
So would anyone like to witness to what Fernando's talking about right now? If you can recognize a time when maybe by human respect or by the fear of being, you know, different, or like, you know, the Catholic person, you think, well, maybe I won't give the holy card to this person, or maybe I won't change the topic of this conversation and talk about like religious stuff. But when you did it, you had a sense, maybe in the moment or later on, that it was the Holy Spirit speaking to you. To help you to think about this, I can tell you a story of, we heard this story from a priest who was giving us our community retreat. So when I was sitting where you guys are, so it was our community retreat, and a priest was telling us, it's not exactly the only way to understand the gifts of the Holy Spirit, but I do think this is an example of what, for example, the gift of counsel could be, but in like an audible type of way. So there was a priest who grew up in Alaska, and while he was in Alaska, growing up, there was like 4 or 5 of these little kids, his brothers and sisters, and they're all playing around and having fun, and they're very poor. And their father, little by little, was building their house. Now, he was building their house over here, but they were living in a tar paper shack over here. And so he'd come back and build some of the house, and then they'd go to sleep in the tar paper shack. The father is at work during the day one day. It's nap time. So all the kids are sleeping back in the tar paper shack. And so nap time meant laundry time for the mother. But now, if you're in a tar paper shack, do you have a combo washer dryer? No. So where did she go? She went down to the river. So she's down at the river doing the laundry, maybe avoiding, you know, salmon jumping up around her, you know, but she's at the river doing the laundry, and she hears a voice. Go back to the house. And so she like leaves the laundry there, and she goes back to the house, and she finds the tar paper shack in flames.
Ooh.
And so she goes into the tar paper shack, and she gets all of her kids out, and she gets all the kids out, and then the tar paper shack becomes a pile of tar paper coals. And so then her husband comes home. What happened? And in reflecting on that, the priest was telling us that's some way to understand the gift of counsel. You know, sitting there at the water, doing the laundry, it would be almost impossible to think, well, maybe I should just like go home right now. But that God like intercedes and gives us advice, like, you can like save your kid's life today. Would you like to do that? And it doesn't even have time, just gives the command. Go back to the house. Maybe some of you have heard the Lord speak to you like that, and that's okay. You don't have to. But there are different ways that the Spirit can speak to us. Sometimes it's like through adrenaline. You know, there's like spiritual adrenaline. There's, you know, there's some differences that are inside of you, some things that you feel like, oh, I really have to do this, or